Badges AB, the AB.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's going on there, man?
Man, how we doing? Happy to be back, man.
It's
Good to see y'all.
Scheels, Eden Prairie Center Toys for Tots, and you're familiar with that from your days gone by here.
Sure.
But I'm tripping a little bit. It's 54. What happened to 55?
I know it feels weird. I agree. It looks weird. Feels weird. But yeah, 55 was taken, and I guess once we're in season, numbers can't be switched. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
active roster guys. So Carter, he got 55.
It's
all good.
On the side, though, see if it's an NFL rule. I mean, you walk up to the undrafted rookie from Army. With all due respect, it might be a $100 bill to get that 5.5.
Yeah, no, we try to work it out, but it's a league rule. So
I understand that.
He was willing. He's a good guy. Good
now
kid.
you're going to be doing some shopping here
Yeah.
for charity. I understand, benefiting, I believe, the Jeremiah program. Is that what it's called?
That's correct.
Yeah. What's going on? What are you going to be doing?
Yeah, taking the family on a little Christmas shopping spree today. Bring some holiday spirit, brighten the day. So looking forward to that. I remember when I was a kid, Christmas was probably my favorite time of the year, as is probably for most children. So it's an exciting time, and want to bring some Christmas joy.
When you came back to Minnesota, I assume you knew where the locker room and everything was. What was that like when you come back and you're officially part of the team again?
Yeah, man, it's been great. It's been really good. Kind of feels like I've never left in a way. A lot of familiar faces, players, not so much coaches, but front office. Some guys in the building in the front office. New faces in the training room. Weight room is very similar. The kitchen, man, the chefs. I miss those guys. They know how to cook up in there. So it's good to get some breakfast again on the house. But it's been good, man. It's been good. It's been a very warm welcome. The fans have been obviously amazing, so I'm happy to be back.
What was it like playing in Dallas?
It was fun, honestly. It's a fun place to play. It's a fun city to live in. Very spread out, kind of hard to get from place to place on a day-to-day basis. But in terms of football, I enjoyed it. It was different not being with your guys. Kind of being the new guy. It's kind of being like going to a new school in a way. So you got to kind of fit in and earn your stripes. But it was a good experience. I'm glad I was able to do that. I think that helped me grow more so as a person, I think, than as a player. Just being thrown kind of not a curveball, but doing something uncomfortable so late in your career. It was a big deal for me, and it worked out. And I thought it went really well for me.
Well, I mean, think about it. Harrison Smith and Danielle Hunter are still here. All right, Kendrick's gone with the LA Chargers. Good for Eric too, by the way. From California, you're from San Pedro, right?
Yeah, right
San
around
Pedro
there.
area.
That works. Yep.
Okay, so I'm saying, playing at SoFi is like your spot, being from San Pedro. That'd be unbelievable.
Sure.
But Kendricks is a California guy, went to UCLA like Anthony. So playing for the Chargers, that's just really cool for him, despite the middling season that they're having. But it's like Kendricks, Danielle, Harrison Smith. Let's just go with Smith and or Danielle. I mean, you come in 2014. Hitman's been here a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then Danielle gets here. So you not only develop friendships as teammates, but friendships as you would say, brothers, people on whom you can count year after year after year. And now you're rolling in, and it's like, hey, that's Steph's brother. Hey, that's Micah Parsons. Hey, that's something called Lattimore or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's a whole different vibe.
It's different.
It's a different vibe for sure. But a lot of the guys, I think there's probably half the roster still in Minnesota that I was teammates with. So again, a lot of familiar faces, and it's been awesome.
Part of that, you talk about the challenge at this stage of your career. You go down to Dallas, and it's something new. Similarly, you come in now with Brian Flores, running things maybe a bit differently than Zimmer did for all those years here in Minnesota. How has that process been? The challenge of it combined with, is there a rejuvenating element to it, learning something new and taking that on? What's that been like?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's been a really cool experience. Honestly, the stuff that Flo does it's like psychotic to look at on paper. Like you read it and you're like, that you're not going to really do that, But then you go on the field and you actually do it, and you're like, oh God, this guy's a maniac.
Wow.
But there's a method to the madness. I think the way that he can dictate what offenses do, and they're really limited into their play calling sheet and their menu as to what they're able to do, and I think that gives us a big advantage on defense. And the personnel that we have, I think, is beneficial to the scheme that he likes to run. A lot of like bodies, athletic bodies, regardless of size. Guys that can rush the quarterback or drive back into coverage, depending on what the offense gives us. It's been a really cool experience.
How do you set expectations for yourself in terms of you making the field your first game? I think it was 12 or so snaps. You're playing more a week later. How do you vibe with those expectations of getting in, learning everything, but also you're a badass. You want to be on the field and make plays, and you want to kind of get ahead of the game. What's that like?
Yeah, it's been interesting. My biggest goal right now is to be the best teammate I could be for the guys in the locker room. They've been obviously doing this for 12 weeks now, 13 weeks, and they got a really close group. I don't want to ruin the vibe that they got going. The defense is playing really good, so I just want to add. I don't want to subtract at all. I don't want to take away from anyone's shine. Elevate the young guys like Ivan Pace, just a really good young kid who I just want to help as much as I can. Reminds me a lot of like a young Eric in a way, just kind of spacey and kind of floaty. But once you get him locked in, he does his job very well. And then the rest of the linebacker room is just a lot of really good guys. So whatever I can do, more so off the field than on the field. If you got issues or whatever and you want to talk about them, I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. So I'm just here to lend a helping hand, lend an ear, and just shine in my role as being a good teammate.
Well, and a veteran, you've seen so much, and you are in that spot in your career, and you've already mentioned Harrison Smith, certainly the tenure that he's had here. Danielle Hunter at this stage of his career. Was there a time when you came in 2014? Maybe there was the Anthony Barr for you, maybe it was Greenway or somebody, where it's like you needed that, like the way that you can maybe provide something to an Ivan Pace.
Yeah, I think Chad was obviously a great teammate. He was also a father of 2 or 3 kids, so we didn't relate as much just because he was in a different stage of his life. Didn't take away from how he helped me on the field, but I think if you remember Audie Cole at all, I think he went to NC State, living in Tennessee now, but he was a really good friend for me when I first got in the league. I think he may have been 3 or 4 years in when I got here. Him and Mike Motti, 2 guys that really helped me out, kind of figure out the NFL, how to be a pro, and also really good guys off the field. So I'm just trying to emulate, kind of what they did for me.
Yeah, that's so interesting that you laid out those names the way you did, because like you and Eric played the most snaps, were the best of the group at that stage of Chad's career, and you two are 2 of the more quiet guys.
Right.
Chad married, stable of kids. Mm-hmm. And then you got Audie Cole and Mike Motti.
Right.
Motti and Audie.
Yeah.
I mean, holy cow, could they have fun?
Sure.
Legal, responsible fun.
Audie Motti, we likes to party.
Right.
Yeah,
Those Monday Night Chad Greenway events at Manny's. I mean, it's like when Sendejo was there. Holy cow, were those great shows.
Dangerous.
But just think about it. I mean, that was pre-pandemic, and then you get the pandemic, then you leave and stuff like that. It's so much changes, man.
It is, the evolution of just life and the sport, the game itself. So much has changed since when I first got here. But at the end of the day, man, it's football. We got a job to do. We got games to win. We got a lot left in front of us this year. So we're looking forward to getting back out there next week or this week.
Now, did you watch any or many Vikings games before you got here?
Yeah, I actually attended one. I attended the Chargers game.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Now, so therefore, when you first saw live, now when you played with Danielle, left defensive end, wreaking havoc, get over to the right side occasionally, slide inside against New Orleans, put a playoff L on Peyton. Okay, so you've seen him all over the place. Mm-hmm. But when you saw him live, standing up as an outside linebacker, play after play after play after play after play, and it's working.
Yeah.
He's never played better against the run. I mean, you know more about it than me, and you certainly played and watched more than me. Yeah. I don't think Danielle's ever played this well. I mean, he's always played well against the run. He's dominating against the run this year.
For sure.
Was that eye-opening to you?
I mean, not really. Just because if you're around him enough, you're gonna you see the work that he puts in. You just see his presence is just kind of overwhelming for a lot of people. Even professional athletes and professional offensive tackles. And he's one guy that he works on his game more than probably anybody. Pre-practice, post-practice, takes care of his body real well. And there was only a matter of time before his full potential was unlocked. And I think we're seeing it on display this year. And why he's not getting more attention for Defensive Player of the Year kind of blows my mind.
Right.
Kind of what he's doing, how impactful he is, and the way teams have to focus on him. I think he deserves a little more credit than what he's getting.
My last thing for you, Anthony, and this is also defensive line related. Whenever we've talked about how good Danielle Hunter has been this season and the amount of praise that he deserves, I look at a guy that you were here when he was drafted, DJ Wonnum, and look at the growth process in terms of having to balance roles, switching from 4-3 to 3-4. Guys like me don't understand maybe how difficult that can be. But I think DJ Wonnum by far is having the best year of his career, and it's been cool to watch that kid grow up in this defense now with 2 different schemes or 3 different thrown at him in such a short period of time.
Yeah, I think people lose patience really easily in the NFL, especially coaches, league office guys. They don't give guys, I think, the time that they need to develop. I know you're paying a guy and you want him to be the best player ever right away, but it doesn't work like that for everybody. You got to be patient. You got to let guys kind of grow into themselves and kind of struggle a little bit and then find their way. And I think that's a credit to DJ for the work that he puts in. He has obviously a great role model and mentor that he sees live every day in Danielle. So being able to mimic and copy the things that he does, I think has allowed him to take his game to the next level. But I think it's okay to not be the greatest player your first 2-3 years. You give these guys some time to develop, especially the coaching staff that we have who do a good job of developing players. I think you see that coming into fruition this year with DJ.
All right, last one here. Now, C.J. Ham is your teammate. C.J. Ham is a true fullback. Already played tailback at Augustana, but he's a fullback. There aren't many fullbacks in the NFL anymore. And the reason I bring this up is because you and players like you basically knocked the position out of the game.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't remember. It was when you guys were playing at the college stadium. It was that Falcons game, and they're down an offensive lineman. Then they lose like 3 in the game. They're using Toy Lolo or whatever.
Right.
The Levine Toy Lolo.
Yeah, the old tight end.
Yeah, the tight end
dude.
and tackle.
Yeah.
But there was a play in that game where they had a fullback and they tried to run some type of lead play to the left side, and you knocked that guy from Minneapolis to Minnetonka. They didn't use a fullback the rest of the year.
Sure.
I mean, they put him in different. You know what I'm saying though?
Right.
Is like taking on like part of Anthony's job was like, okay, that fullback Madison Hedgecock, we need you just to run up to him and destroy him, and that's it. Just run up and destroy him, and let the other 10 do their thing. Well, those plays just barely happen anymore because they're never fullbacks,
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just the evolution of the game. There'll be a time, in my opinion, where it all comes back. Where fullbacks become a focal point of offenses again. And I think the great thing about CJ is he doesn't have to be playing offense to make an impact on the game.
Right.
We put him on special teams, third down, even if he's a pass protector. He can obviously carry the ball if need be. I mean, he's just the perfect, honestly, football player. In my mind, I think football player, I kind of think of C.J. Ham because he does everything at a high level and he could do anything you ask him to do.
Did you ever, like, who's the running head-on 2 Rams in the Prairie like I just described?
Sure.
Like, do you have one that jumps out where it was a standoff, you and the fullback? Do you remember Lorenzo Neal or something?
Yeah, Jerome Ford. Was he here, right?
Yeah. Felton?
Felton.
Oh, yeah.
Felton. Yeah. He was a load. I mean, he was like the fattest fullback ever, but he was fast and he was good. So
I know.
That was like my welcome to the NFL moment.
Right.
I think when I was a young guy.
Have you ever watched Patrick Ricard for the Baltimore?
Yeah, that guy's a load too.
How about him?
That's
300
ridiculous.
bucks.
I shouldn't be allowed to play fullback if
And
you're
he's
like
fast.
over 280. It's like, all right, it's a cutoff.
Oh, you're the best,
You
man.
gotta be on the line.
Good
My man.
seeing you again.
You too, fellas.
Anthony Barr, ladies and gentlemen, great having him back in the mix. Don't call it a comeback. Guess what? He's never been gone.